Okay. You know what? Today it's lecture 4. Okay, lecture 4, media and public opinions. And probably all of you have my lecture note slides, right? And lecture note slides. You can print out. And the media and public opinion. That's lecture 4. And chapter 4. Also chapter 4 of the reading package. So I'll talk about media and public opinion today and next week, 2 classes of next week. So you should read chapter 4, and why don't you, bring, my lecture slides, okay? Okay. All right, before I start, the lecture 4 is a media and public opinion. This is a really, diagrams right here. Last week, actually I talked about persuasion, right? So I gave you, more specific lecture about persuasion. And the media try to persuade the public. That's routine process of the media effects. So a certain persuasion and try to bring any sort of effects. There are a lot of different levels of effect. We mentioned that already, like cognitive effects, and knowledge effects, and attitude effects, and behavior effect. It's kind of levels of the effects, right? So, if so, in terms of the media and public, and persuasion and effects, in other words, media agenda and public agenda. Public agenda we call today, I lecture public opinions. So media agenda sets public opinions. That's the relationships. That's the part of the media effects. Media sets what people think about. Media sets the specific agenda, what people think about. Media sets specific opinion, what people think about. That's the relationship between media agenda and public opinions. And the priming, we had really good lecture from the, is one of the originator of the theory, priming theories. And very interesting and very intriguing and very important theories between media and public opinions last week, on Monday this week. And 2-step theories, framing, agenda setting, and diffusion theory is also important communication theories when you talk about media and public opinions. Okay? So I'll give you brief lecture about these theories today. All right? Make sense? That's the diagrams before we start the slides 4. Yes. Okay, guys. This is overlapping slides right here. SMCRE models. It's communication model, communication process, and we learned about already. So moving on, magic bullet theories. In other words, bullet theories, right? It's very powerful and strong. Propaganda theories, mass media, chief publics, are very direct, very strong, and very short term, right? That's the magic bullet theories. And now is 2-step flow theory of the mass communications, right? Mass media go to the opinion leaders and to publics, like this. Actually, who coined this? Who suggested this model? I mentioned several times, Paul Laderspeth, right? Paul Laderspeth. And then, two-step flow theories of the best communication is a very important communication model which brought a paradigm shift from a strong media effect to the very limited media effect, especially, pointed the importance of the opinion leaders like us. So no direct effects. More likely to have media go through the opinion leaders, and the opinion leaders influence of the public and public opinions. That's actually one step and second steps. That's why two steps media effect theories by Paul Lagerfeld. And diffusion theories right here. Media influence, it's very similar, but assumption is very similar. And the metaphoric theories, media influence directly individuals, and diffusion models actually measure. Diffusion theories measure how fast media information diffuse among their individuals, among their peoples. So diffusion theories are really huge and grand theories. So I'm not giving you more specific things today. I'll give you really detailed information about diffusion theory later. It's huge information and huge theories. But today, just roughly, in terms of media and public opinions, diffusion theories are really like this. And media influence public opinion very strongly and very directly. And information is diffused all over the people like us through the media. That's diffusion theories. Okay. And then agenda setting theories or agenda setting hypothesis. Agenda setting theory or agenda setting hypothesis like this. Mass media sets agenda, what public think about. You know what Lars explained there, right? Lars Willer explained that when somebody, right, who actually asked back questions, what the difference between agenda setting and framing? Yeah, thank you. What's your name? Han Chemin. Okay, thank you. Chemin asked that question, very important questions. What the difference between agenda setting and framing, right? You know what? Mass media sets agenda, what public think about. That's actually what issues, what stories, and what news. That we call the agenda, right? So media sets agenda, people interested. Media sets agenda, people have a conversation with the people, other friends. So media routinely, every day sets a certain agenda, what people think about in heads. That's the agenda setting. That's just a very basic assumption of the agenda setting theories. And the priming, Professor Willer answered that question exactly. Priming is actually related to evaluations. When people judge, make a decision or evaluate, and political candidates or presidents and professors, for examples. When you evaluate professors, your evaluations, this is a really easy example like this. When you write evaluation sheets about my lectures, when is most important for your decisions? Very last part of the semesters. I'm fine, just missed class, just reading the PowerPoints. I'm very lazy, I'm not talking about, just reading, and that's the part of the lectures today. That's fine. If really energetic lectures, end of the semester, probably your evaluation really based on the recent information, right? Recent class, you evaluate, it depends on. So that's the primary. That's the primary. Recent information is very important to judge or evaluate and figure what candidates or political person or president and issues. That's the primary. Well, anyway, agenda setting hypothesis like this. Mass media sets agenda, what people think about, what public think about. Okay. Agenda setting, its important theories. I'll give you a little, the agenda setting trees. Okay. I have to close the door because I don't like the minion, Professor Minion, listen to my lectures. Because I mentioned her name right. Okay, agenda setting. Okay, we say agenda setting trees. It's 1972. 1972. Agenda setting was born 1972 in the journals Public Opinion Quarterly. This journal is very famous in the sociology and public opinions. Public Opinion Quarterly. Hey, why don't you turn on the light, please? Please, excuse me. Turn on the light, please. Okay, thank you. So, Public Opinion Quarterly in 1972 by Malcolms and Shaw. Malcolms and Shaw suggest the name of the theory is agenda setting for the first time in 1972. You know, especially we have to pay attention to Malcolms. He's an important scholar and very important, second generation of the scholar in communication. He graduated Stanford University, and at the late of the 20s, he got jobs in the UCLA, University of California, and Los Angeles. He was 28 years old, very young professor in the UCLA, and then he tried to have a important research project. So I met the Maxwell and Malcolms several times, and then I asked how you evolve, how you make an agenda setting, and then I listened to his history, very specific history about the agenda setting. And then when he was a professor in UCLA, and then he went to library, university library, and then he picked up the really small books written by Walt. You know what? If writing names, what happens? Writing names in red, what happens? In Korea, I don't know is that true, but in Korea, that guy is died. He's writing name in red colors. Fortunately, Lippmann passed away already. So I'm not writing my name in red. I don't like that. Anyway, what Lippmann wrote 1922, the name of the books right here. The name of books, Public Opinions. No, Maxwell and Malcolms, actually read a little book from the UCLA library. He picked up just happened to pick up a small and little book written by Walter Lippmann, who was a political scientist in early 20th centuries. He's a very famous scholar in political science, not communication field. And he wrote about public opinions. And then Maxwell Malcolm read the book Public Opinion in UCLA, and then he tried to test public opinions, books, arguments right here. What arguments actually he want to test? Pictures in our heads. You know what? What Lippmann wrote in his book Public Opinions, he argued that media provide pictures in our heads. What does this mean? Media provide information actually we have in our brain. Pictures of outside the reality actually delivered by media. So, Malcolm's will try test Walter Lippmann's arguments. Media sets pictures in our heads. Actually written in 1922. Almost 50 years later, Malcolm found the arguments suggested by Walter Lippmann and UCLA. How? Just happened in library. So I argue that you have to go library sometimes. What happens? Nobody knows that. You can accidentally pick up the amazing stories, amazing theories sometimes. Okay? So he picked up his arguments, and then he want to test this. He want to test this where? 1968 U.S. presidency elections. U.S. president elections. He want to test this, the impact of the media, especially newspapers and publics. The Malcolm's test, the impact of the newspaper on publics about India-US president election in 1968, where he did this North Carolina, not UCLA, North Carolina. Actually, you know what? Maxwell Malcolm proposed this research project to the UCLA. UCLA Research Council and Committee reject. Why? That's not an important project. Everyone knows that. That's common sense. Media influence a lot. That's common sense. So we don't have the money to give you to test this hypothesis. And then Maxwell Malcolm moved to North Carolina as professors. And then he met Don Shaw, professor over there already. He met Don Shaw at University of North Carolina in 1965, and then they prepared 3 years to test this, the impact of the newspaper on public about the U.S. presidential elections. So they did studies in 1968, and then they wrote articles in the name of the agenda setting function of the media, and then they published eventually 1972 in Public Opinion Quarterly. That's just the stories. That's historical starting of the most important communication theory agenda setting. That's 40 something years ago, right? So this year, that's 40th birthday of agenda setting, right? 40th birthday of agenda setting. So I'm part of the, the scholars to celebrate agenda setting theory. Anyway, this is history, and then today the last part of the lecture is right here. Agenda setting trees right here. Actually, two trees. North Carolina is original place of the agenda setting. Malcolm's was a professor there, and he's the best student of the Malcolm's. Is not me, right? Don't expect that. David Weaver. I'll give you more specific, important concepts suggested by David Weaver later, anyway, not today. And David Weaver is the best student of the Malcolm's. I am now, right here. Not wow. I was the student of the David Weaver, and last Villa, he was last Monday, right? So we are students of the David Weaver, and so I said yes, third generation of the agenda setting scholar. I am third generations from the Malcolm's, first Weaver, and me. There are hundreds of scholars right here. Just I put my name right here. And Malcolm's moved from the North Carolina to Texas, University of Texas later, and he was there, and one of the students, actually, Min Young, he's one of the faculty members of our school, right? So just anyway, it's two professors in our schools. They're actually part of the trees of the agenda setting traditions. That's interesting to me, but I don't know how much interesting to you. But anyway, I'll give you more specific, detailed assumption and theories about agenda setting next Monday.